Good morning, students. I am Jerry Wheeler, and I will be your economics teacher who will going to teach you in class 11th. So first of all, I congratulate all of you and welcomes you all in class 11th. So first of all, I want to tell you one thing that as you entered and as you have chosen commerce stream, so don't think that you are not in no that good class. You are in coming in that you are thinking that we are not good, that's why we have chosen commerce. So it is not like that. Many toppers are also there who are choosing commerce stream because commerce have too many good future, okay, which you can't think of right now because you are in small stage. So first of all, I want to tell you that if now you have chosen commerce, so take it seriously. Earlier maybe in class 10th and from the 8th 9th 10th you have not paid attention towards your study. That's why you have not scored good percentage. So take it as your second innings right now. What I'm saying, take it as your second inning right now, because maybe in first inning, in first phase of your study, if to in first to 10th you have not paid attention. That's why you have not scored too much percentage, and that's why maybe didn't get science stream. Some students are like that, I know that. Those who have didn't get science stream, or those who are having low less attendance, or you can say that less percentage, they are thinking that okay, take commerce, it is easy subject. So I am not saying that it is a difficult subject, but just I am saying that if you will take it lightly also, as you have taken 10 standard or you can say 9 standard, so it will be difficult for you. So first of all, I want to tell you that take it as your second inning. Whatever mistakes you have done in your past, leave it. Now take it as your second inning. Do your hard work, because it is a new subject for all. Here no one is like that he is good in maths, he is good in science, so he can do better. No, it is not like that. Right now it is your second inning because it is a new fresh subjects for all. Because first time you are going to study about economics, that microeconomics and that other economics in ninth class. Whatever you have taught learn in economics or 10th class, that is different. This is the totally different economics from that, okay. So I'm going to tell you that pay attention towards all the videos, all the teachings, all the you can say concept which I will explain in this coming videos, so that you can score good marks in 11th class. Because if 11th class is strong, if you will do good, if you will give good performance in 11th class, then only you can say prepare a good base for your 12th. I hope you will understand my words, and will cooperate me. Okay, so I hope you all will have a fabulous career. And it's not like that you have chosen commerce, so there is a no career options are there. There are many career options are there. CA is there, CA is there, accountant is there, tax consultants are there, banker, auditor, lecturer, financial consultant, market research, business law. Many options are there after 12th. So that don't think that you don't have a fabulous career. You will have a fabulous career if you will cooperate with me. Then I guarantee you I will make your career a best one. Okay, so let's start our study. So first of all, I want to tell you about the marking scheme. As this is class 11th, you are talking about economics. This is 2020-21. So economics is divided into two parts. Your 11th class economics is divided into two parts, that is part A and part B. In part A, you are going to learn about statistics for economics. It means basically you're going to learn about statistics. And part B, you're going to learn about introductory macroeconomics. Basically it means microeconomics. Okay, so these two parts we are going to study in class 11. So if I am going to tell you about a scheme, that marking scheme, so just pay attention here. Part A, that is statistics, it includes 3 units. First unit introduction, second unit collection, organizing and presentation of data, and third unit is what? Statistical tools and interpretation. These units having some chapters also. So if we talk about first 2 units, introduction and collection, organizing and presentation of data, these 2 units having how many marks? 13 marks together. These 2 units having 13 marks, because 13 marks questions are coming out of these 2 units. Then third unit is, that is statistical tools and interpretation. From this unit how many marks will come? 27 marks. In total it becomes 40 marks. Let me show you the book also. This is the books, Statistic for Economics, writer T.R. Jain and V.K. Ori. Okay, this is the book, and these are chapters. In unit 1 you're going to learn about concept of economics and significance of statistical economics. In chapter in unit 2, you're going to learn about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 chapters. These 7 chapters are coming under second unit, that is this unit. Then third unit is what? Statistical tools and interpretation. In third unit, you're going to learn about measures of central tendency, that is arithmetic mean, and measures of central tendency, median and mode, measure of dispersion, correlation and index numbers. Okay. And CBSE have related some topics also, which I will tell you later. Okay. Then part B comes introductory macroeconomics. In introductory macroeconomics, from introduction unit, 4 marks will come. Consumers equilibrium and demand, 13 marks. Producers behavior and supply, 13 marks. Forms of markets and price determination under perfect competition with simple applications, 10 marks. So these are the units, 4 units from which 40 marks questions will come. So you can see macroeconomics, introductory macroeconomics, again TR Jain and VK Ori. So from this one also you can see unit 1 having 1, 2 chapters, unit 2 1, 2, 3, 4 chapters, unit 3 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chapters, and unit 4 1 and 2 chapters. So these are 13 total chapters which are comes under these 4 units. So together they are having 40 plus 40 marks. How much? It becomes 80 marks. So from theory, part A plus part B, how much? 80 marks, and then remaining 20 marks will come out from project work. So 80 plus 20, it becomes total 100 marks. So this is the marks scheme of class 11th. So first of all, we will start with our part B, that is introductory macroeconomics. In this, first we will start with our chapter 1, that is introduction unit. Okay, that is economics and economy. So I will teach you through some notes, and you have to note down those notes in your copies. You have to make your economics copy in 2 parts. First part, that is introductory macroeconomics, and second part, that is statistics. You will make it later, but first of all you have to make a register, long register, in which you will write about the notes which I am telling you here, explaining you here in your copy. Let's start. So before we proceed to the meaning of economics, let us first understand the meaning of economy and reasons for studying economics. So first of all we will learn about economy, then only we will learn about economics. Okay, so what is economy? In Hindi, if we say, we can say that economy means earth vyavastha. So economy, what do you mean by economy? Let us understand this word economy with the help of this example. This is a factory. What is this? This is a factory. Okay, as you can see here, and these are the peoples. Okay, so what happening in this factory? These peoples are working. Some peoples from these people are working as a labor, because factory can't work only on machines. Yes, they're working on machines, but they need labors also. So peoples are working in this machine, and what this factory do? This factory is producing goods. Okay, so it is a producer, you can say. Okay, they are producing goods. Then what happening? Who is helping in producing goods? These people, because these peoples are working in this factory as a worker. So after producing their goods, what this factory do? They are selling in the market. After producing goods, they are selling in the market. So what they are getting? They are getting rupees, money. Then this money they are distributing towards the people, those who are working there as a worker, or you can say as a labor. It means the factory is giving money to the laborers in the form of wages and salary, you can say. Now from where this factory getting this money? Actually, when the factory have made, or you can say produced some goods, so they are supplying them in market, and from market, who is purchasing? These peoples only as a consumer, because these peoples can't live without eating, or you can say by consuming things. So they have to consume things like food, okay, and other things like clothes they have to wear. These things they have to purchase. So they are consumer. So basically these are the peoples only, those who are consuming the things which are produced by the factory from the market. So when they are going to market and they are purchasing those things, so they have to give some money. Okay, so basically what happened? They have given money to the whom? For the goods they have purchased, to the market, and from market has given that money to the factory, and that factory has returned that money to the people in the form of wages and salary, but after taking out their profit. So basically factory is producing goods with the help of people, and at last they are selling those goods to the people only in the form of, you can say, goods and services. Okay, in the form of goods and services. This, so factory providing goods and services to the people, and people providing money for that one, and then factory providing what? Money to the peoples in the form of wages and salary. In this way they are working, and the money is flowing between them only. Okay, so this whole system is regulated by the government. Who is regulating this whole system? Government. Okay, government, with the help of, you can say, law. With the help of law, this whole system is regulating by the government, and this whole system, in which we are including this production, consumption, government, this whole system is called economy. So I hope it is clear to you now what is the meaning of economy. So we can say economy. An economy refers to an association through which individuals earn their living. How they can earn their living? As you have, I have given example. The people are working in the factory, and for that working they are getting what? Wages, rupees, salary, and that salary they are spending on purchasing things, for consuming things now. So that's why they are earning their living by working in an economy, you can say. So you can one more definition is there. You can say an economy is a system, just I told you, it is a system which provides what? People the means to work and earn a living. It provides a opportunity and a chance so that they can get a source of earning. Okay, so these individuals in the society needs various goods and services to satisfy their unlimited needs and desires. Definitely these individuals needs what? Home, first of all, shelter, you can say, food, okay, education. So this food and this you can say that clothes, this all comes under goods, and services are what? Like that you can say school, hotel, hospitals, these are what? Services. Like this you can say this one, goods and services. They needs their clothes, they needs that foods, pizza and other, the chapatis, that water, other things. Okay, these are comes under goods. Then services like hotels, school, hospital, okay, transport, these all are called services. So individuals needs these things, goods and services, in the society to satisfy their unlimited needs and desires. Now as you know that human needs are unlimited, because suppose that today I am a middle poor person. I just start my job, and now I am earning good. So what I am do? First of all, I will purchase a cycle for myself, because my earning is low. So first of all, I will purchase a cycle, and I have been satisfying in cycle for some months. Now when my salary increases, so what I will do? Now I will desire for bike. When I purchase a bike, okay, so for some years I work on bike only, I uses my bike. After that my salary increases more. When my salary increases, so what happen? Now I desire for car. Then I will purchase one car. Then what happen? I will desire for more luxurious car. So it happens when we get one thing, so when we satisfy with that thing, so we will desire for other thing. So that's why I am saying that the human needs are what? Unlimited. That's why I have used the word unlimited needs and desires. So in order to satisfy those unlimited needs and desires, what they will do? The human will use the resources, and the resources are limited. The nature is providing us limited resources. So how to satisfy our needs? So this question answer is already lie in economy only. So first of all, just read this one. An individual needs and desires for food, clothes, resident, etc. You know that they desires for everything. They will desire for food, he will desire for clothes, they will desire for a good residence, etc. But due to limited resources, because his income is limited, his money is limited, he is having limited money, so he or she can't get all. He can't satisfy all desire at one time. At one time only he can purchase an aeroplane, at one time only he can purchase a car. So it's depend on him. Okay, it's depend on the resources he is getting. So you can see that food, clothes, residence, education, car, these all are what? It's unlimited requirements. But he is having limited resources in the form of money. He is getting limited salary. So in that limited salary he can't purchase all things. Okay, either he always having choice. Either he can purchase a good luxurious car, or either he can purchase a good residence. So he has to choose one, and one thing he has to sacrifice that time. So in society there are limited resources to satisfy all needs and desires. Limited I am saying, very few. Okay, needs and desires. Therefore, we need to use limited resources in a best possible way to satisfy our most of the needs and desires. So what we can do, as we are having limited resources, so first of all we should spend on education, and we can get good education. If we get good education at this time, so after some years we can earn good money, then we can satisfy our needs of cars and good destination, etc. Okay, so it is necessary that we need to utilize our resources in a best possible way. Okay, so economy has to see which product people's uses more and which products people uses less. So economy has to, this in economy studies all these things, that which product people are uses more, which products people uses less. Then economy needs to increase the production of that product. Now suppose that there is a two types of productions, you can say that products are there, wheat and rice. So there is a need, there is a demand of wheat is more. Product 1 is wheat and product 2 is rice. Product 1 wheat, product 2 rice. The demand of wheat is more. You can say product 1 wheat. Okay, this is a company wheat and this is a product 2, that is rice. Now the demand of wheat is more. See here. Then economy needs to increase the production of that product which is higher in demand and decrease the production of goods which are in lower demand. Now the demand of wheat is more and the demand of rice is less is here, but the company is same. So what they can do, they are having that you can say that 50 laborers. Earlier they have taken 25 laborers on wheat and they are using 25 laborers for rice. Okay, and the same amount of money they are using for product 1, that wheat, and same amount of money they are using for product 2, that rice. But as the demand of wheat is more in the, you can say that in the market, so what they will do, they will use all the resources, most of the resources. Like earlier they are using 25 laborers. Now what they will do, they will use that from some labors they can use from the production of rice, they can transfer to the production of wheat. Like earlier they are using 25 laborers in the production of wheat. Now they can use what, 35 laborers, and 15 laborers they can put here, because this is right now the demand of rice is less, so they can transfer some laborers from here to here in the production of this one. Even they can transfer some of money in this one, so that they can produce more of wheat, because there is a demand of wheat is higher in compared to product 2, that is rice. So for this, economy has to transfer, or you can say move some resources like land, labors and machines from one product to another, and this is called the allocation of resources. Now the word come allocation of resources, and other word come here, higher demand, lower demand, then production. So these all are words are of economics. These are all the things which we are going to learn in economics. Okay, so question comes, why we study economics? Now we'll talk about economics. Economics is studied because it enables us to understand different aspects of the economy. Just different aspects we have learned: allocation of resources, higher demand, lower demand, production, household, these all are. However, the main reason for the study of economics is what? It can be simplified to a single word, that is scarcity. Scarcity, you have seen that limited resources, limitation, that is mean scarcity. So scarcity refers to the limitation of supply in relation to demand for a commodity. Now what limitation? It means lacking. So in order to understand the scarcity concept, just take example. In its initial days when coronavirus spread in India, what happened? There was a lack of sanitizer. Okay, doctors are saying that use sanitizers, but there was a lacking of sanitizers in the market. So what happened that time? There was a more demand of sanitizer, but what happening? The sanitizer was not in supply. So it means that there is a lack of supply of sanitizer that time. It means the demand is more but supply is less of sanitizer. So that kind of situation we can say scarcity. So it means there was a limitation, there is a lacking of sanitizer. So we can say scarcity. So scarcity refers to the limitation of supply in relation to demand for a commodity, or you can say it refers to the situation when wants exceeds, means demands exceeds the available resources to satisfy all the wants of its people. Then comes what? Scarcity is universal. I told you, scarcity is not only for an individual, but it is for all, and not only in an institution, but everywhere. Not only in India, but in America also, but Brazil also, but everywhere. So scarcity is universal, that is every individual or you can say organization and economy faces scarcity of resources. We can put comma here. Okay, then comes what? Scarcity of resources calls for economizing of resources. Now what they are saying, as scarcity is there is a lacking of resources, so what we need to do, we need to economize the resources, which means that whatever the resources which are available with us, we have to utilize it properly. Means we have to make optimum use of the available resources, means proper, we don't need to waste, but we have to utilize them properly, we have to utilize fully. Optimum means full, to the full. Okay, so this is a need to economize, as we have to satisfy our unlimited wants, that human wants, out of the limited resources. Okay, so I hope now scarcity is clear to you. Now what, the problem is not only the scarcity, but the problem is more there. What, scarcity is not the only problem, limitation of resources is not the only problem. In addition to being scarce, yes, they are in lacking, but what, they are having alternative uses, means they are having more uses. Like for example, I can take example of, you can say, petrol. Petrol is a resource which are in limited, okay, which having the you can say that it is a limited resource, what, petrol. But petrol is not only used in vehicle, but petrol is used in machines also, railway engines also, airplanes also, and you can say about generator also. So it have many uses. So a human has to think that when they having resources, limited resources like petrol, so he has to think which is more needed, either to put in vehicles, either to put in, you can say that, generators, or either in put in machines. So he has to make choice. So scarcity is not the problem, but choice is also a problem. So you can say alternate use of resources means that resources can be put to more than one use. That is the meaning of alternate use. Here the spelling of alternate is wrong, so ALTERNATE, alternate use of resources. So we all know, as I have told you about petrol, this is the example of petrol. So whenever a commodity is chosen for one use, other valuable uses will have to be rejected. It gives rise to the problem of choice. As I told you, as we are having petrol in limited quantity, so either we can put in our vehicle, either we can use it for generator. So which is more needed, we will use this for vehicles. So we have made a choice, so we have rejected the use of generator there. So when we have to make choice, so we have to reject one choice. Okay, this is give rise to the problem of choice. Now the next problem coming, economic problem. Now what is economic problem? Economic problem is a problem of choice. Just we have read out, economic problem is what, a problem of choice involving what, satisfaction of unlimited wants out of limited resources having alternative uses. Now this is the economic problem. Just I told you that having scarce resources and having that resources also having what, different uses. So what are the reasons for these economic problems? So first reason should be that what, scarcity of resources, that the resources which are having available are in limited quantity. So we can say that either land, labor, capital, these all are limited in relation to their demand. Okay, so it is the basic reason for the existence of economic problems. Then second comes what, the greed of humans, means that humans wants unlimited things, he never satisfies, so his desires are never ending. That's why they can say that they can never be fully satisfied. As soon as one want is satisfied, another new want emerges as automatically. So we can say second reason is what, unlimited human wants. And third is what, just we have read out, alternative uses, scarce and having what, alternative uses. Resources are not only scarce, but they can also be put to the various uses. Like I have given example of petrol, so we can take one more example, that is of electricity. Electricity not only uses in houses, but in agriculture also, and in industry also, and in many other fields. So it's up to us to choose the best possible way. Okay, so these are what we have learned about you can say economy. Then we have learned why we are reading economics. Then we have read that scarcity, and then we have read economics problem and reasons for the economics problem. This is it for the day. I hope you have seen the video properly and you will understand it properly, and you will make notes on this on these notes, you will make it in copy also. So all the best students, this is the first class of your 11. Thank you. Last I want to say, be safe and God bless you all.